Peace and love spread out the ether. There's been a lot of talk about how we got here. How did humans get to where they are today? And from what I found, it's two conclusions. We either evolved into what we are today, meaning we came from a germ and evolved into another thing, and that thing turned into another thing, and so on and so on, and we became human. Or we evolved from monkeys. I think they got that story out there, right? We came from monkeys, we evolved from monkeys. So evolution, we either evolved or we devolved. Devolution. Now, ancient texts and ancient writings that I have researched and I have read all say that we devolved. There was a devolution, I guess you can say, if you may, where we were at this godlike state, and then we became this state that we are now. Okay? All modern history says, or research says, we evolved from the monkey, germs, etc. So it's kind of like, which one do you go with? All right. Well, then you got what I do is I correlate things. I'll take one topic and put it with another topic just to see. So the topic I put with this was the lost continent of Atlantis. A lot of people don't know that the lost continent of Atlantis was real. Yeah. There was a landmass in the Pacific Ocean that connected the Americas and Africa. You could literally walk from Alaska to Asia. This landmass sank in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, the people on this landmass were called the Atlanteans. Okay, you probably also heard this continent called the continent of Mu. But if you Google it, you're probably not going to find anything about the continent of Mu or Atlantis except for some conspiracy theories. But what you will find on Google is that there was an island or landmass that sank, and they called it Zealandia. Maybe saying that wrong because I don't really remember what it was, but look that up. There was an actual landmass. They just changed the name of it. Like they changed the name of everything, huh? So, back to devolution, evolution. This landmass, according to historical documents, is the motherland. Is why you see pyramids that correlate with the pyramids in Africa that correlate with the pyramids in Americas. This is why you see in the lotus flower in Africa and in America and in South America. You see it actually everywhere. This is why some of the technology, everything seems similar, because Africa was not the motherland, Atlantis was. And the people there, Atlanteans, were green. How do I know that? Hieroglyphics. One thing that I also come to see is that I think the island or the continent sank because it was at a lower elevation. It was not as high up. So when the flood account happened, that every historical document or culture has in the documents, when the flood happened, the flood flooded Atlantis, and it didn't necessarily sank, but the water went over the continent. So, in me thinking, and with that philosophy, it's still down there. And if it's still down there, let's bring up another topic that might correlate with that. The wires, the cable wires that are all on the ocean floor, and how we get power and energy transmissions and communication all through the ocean floor. Wonder what's down there. Okay. But a lot of this points to us devolving and not evolving from monkeys. Okay. I also want to talk about how the people of Atlantis were, from the documents, connected with the ether and the earth to the point where they use telepathic powers and telekinesis with a lot of things they did. But when they, I guess, sank, you could say, the people that were of these people, meaning the people in Africa and the people in America, they lost their connection with the homeland, and a lot of people died. And according to the Lost Continent in the Mute book, 13 million, estimated 13 million people lost their lives when this island sank or when the flood came. But long story short, that broke off the connection of the people, the main people of this realm, and their source. And these green or blue people, when they lost their source, started to turn brown. Kind of like a plant that you don't water. It's green and you don't water it, it starts turning brown because it loses connection with the earth. So I guess we got two options, or two ways of looking at how humans got here. We either evolved from monkeys, and if that's the case, monkeys still should be evolving, or we devolved. Devil-lution. And here we are today because we are the fallen angels, or we are descendants of the Atlanteans, or we are the Atlanteans. Either way, it's food for thought, something to think about. Go look up some of this stuff. Cool little rabbit hole, y'all. Peace and love. Love all y'all.